All right, welcome to the latest edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday, and we're about to get started here in just a moment, man. Give me a second to make sure everything is coming through. It looks like it is, so let's go ahead and make it happen, man. Welcome everyone. I hope everybody is great. Hope everyone is doing well. You guys know how I do. Give me just a moment here, and I will send out the link to a few special people, man, and then we'll get it cracking. And we'll do the roll call. And, I got some feedback, man. Somebody in the last video said that I take 30 minutes to get started. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I pissed him off, but it is what it is. So I'll be a lot faster tonight as far as getting started. So all I'm going to do, like I always do, is grab the link. I'm going to send it to a few people, man, that don't necessarily get the YouTube notifications. And then we'll get started. We'll do the quick roll calls and such. And there you have it. But how's everybody doing tonight, man? I hope everybody's good. I hope everybody's well. And we only got a few things to dive into here tonight, man. So, of course, if you want to call in, guys, the number is there on the screen. I'll give you 2 minutes and state your biz. But if not, man, you can hear me ramble for a little bit and then we'll be out of here. So 1 second, man. One more person to send the link to. How's everybody feeling tonight? Everybody's good, right? No complaints? I'm sure we all could complain, but we won't complain, right? All right, here we are. So without further ado, let's do the official intro. Welcome to Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic. For you guys who are new, thank you for coming through. For you guys who've been here before, the door is always open, and I appreciate you guys returning, and we'll have a good time tonight. We'll talk a little bit about, a little more about the game. We've digested it a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about what we expect to see in this upcoming game against the Titans. And I have a few, I have a few things in the description there that we'll definitely talk about as well, as far as what I want to cover tonight. Give me just a second and I'll let you know what that is. And then I will do the roll call and then we will be done. Let's see. So a couple other things that I kind of want to go over tonight as well, man, is the Steelers seem like, we're kind of under the radar a little bit, like it says in the title, man, going into 2019. So we'll talk about our secondary because, Rod Woodson had a couple things to say about the secondary, which I agree with. And we'll also talk about the Steelers' position right now going into 2019 in terms of the power rankings. And even Jeremy Fowler, you guys in the Pittsburgh area would know who Jeremy Fowler is, or if you follow the Steelers, what he's saying about Kevin Colbert being on the hot seat and not Mike Tomlin. So very interesting. So I'll read what he had to say. And outside of that, man, whatever else comes up in the chat, we'll talk about. And whatever the guys in the phone call queue we'll talk about. So let's do that. All right, real quick roll call, man. I'll read some of the names here. Steve Williams, Jay Winningham, Luke W., Y. Diggy, King Guru Lee, Brandon Cheney, Christian Gonzalez, Two Kids, Steelers fan, Luke Brooks, Lance and Shield, YBZ Resby, Tyrone Johnson, Vista Light, Tristan Cooper, Ron Simpson, Mark White, and Black Hawk. What's up, Black Hawk? I haven't seen you in a while. My brother Tony's in the building as well. A Philly in the building. Big Mob 34, Gerard Williamson, Jared Devil, Luis D. And we'll throw another shout out to Smitty753 and Droz Hill. So, all right, let me get started. Like I said, man, I got nudged on my last video. Go check out the comment from Saturday's video. Dude said, this guy takes 30 minutes to get started. Oh, my God. And I told him, why don't you go watch somebody that gets started a little faster? Hey, whatever floats your boat. But, all right, man, let's, excuse me, there I go coughing again. Where should we start? Let's get some of the topics out of the way, all right? So, 2019. Rod Woodson, for you guys who haven't seen it, and I'll just paraphrase here, man, he basically says, he shared the sentiment that him and Bill Cowher both feel that the Steelers are kind of flying under the radar a little bit, and I'll go deeper into that in a moment, but they're basically saying that, they feel like that this will light a fuse under the team, but the overall arching point that Rod Woodson had is that the Steelers secondary, we still don't know what we have. We don't know what we have. And, we really don't have a known playmaker as of yet. Now, of course, you bring in a guy like Steven Nelson, and you would hope Steven Nelson will help to do that, with his 4 interceptions last year, him also tying Cam Sutton this year at camp with the most interceptions. But you can only go off of what you saw the last time they were out there. Sean Davis hasn't shown himself to be a playmaker in terms of intercepting the ball. Okay, Terrell Edmonds going into his second season, we don't know if he's that type of playmaker yet. Mike Hilton is a playmaker, but not when it comes to intercepting the ball. He's more of the grunge work, I like to call it. He does a good job in the slot for the most part, in coverage, and when he blitzes. But then also, in man coverage, he could be somewhat of a liability depending on who he's going up against because of his stature, right? Artie Burns, who's going to be a rotational guy. Yes, I said it. He's going to be a rotational guy this year until Justin Lane gets up to speed. If Justin Lane gets up to speed, Artie Burns is going to be the next man up if anything happens with Joe Hayden or Steven Nelson. Okay, and then you got, Cam Sutton. Cam Sutton, they're talking about him having a phenomenal camp. He's looked great. He's done pretty decent in preseason for the snaps that we've seen. But again, none of these guys are proven bona fide playmakers. And Rod Woodson was basically saying, we haven't had that. And I know it's not fair to compare people or compare careers to a Troy Polamalu, but it's the truth. We haven't had this type of success or this type of, athlete, if you will, or just outstanding player since the Polamalu days. That's just it. It is what it is, right? So it does make me look at our secondary, and I'm not going to be the type of guy that's going to have super bold predictions or super low predictions. I look at it for what it is. Joe Hayden at this point of his career, solid cover corner, solid veteran, had a phenomenal interception against New England last year at home. But are we going to expect Joe Hayden to do that all the time? Maybe not in terms of the interceptions. Okay, and again, I named the other guys. Steven Nelson is the guy that I'm going to keep my eye on because he's brand new out there. We'll see what he can bring to the fold. And then a guy like Cam Kelly. We're going to talk about Cam Kelly here in a moment too. Speaking of the secondary, I'm going to show you guys a quick play from the game last week. I read an article, shout outs to SteelersDepot.com. I thought I saw this when I was watching the game. I just wasn't 100% sure, but I'll talk about that here in a second. But yeah, man, it's a good, valid question. And I hope you guys are chatting it up in the comments, giving your thoughts on it. And we'll revisit it once before I close the show. It's a great question, man. I don't know. I don't know what secondary we have. And we just clearly right now, we don't have that guy that we feel like is a huge playmaker. Devin Bush, of course, is going to help the defense. But I'm just talking about those guys, man, that, the secondary DB type of guys. We shall see. We shall see, because we're going to have to improve our turnovers in order to be, a special team if we're going to make any type of noise this season. Now, speaking of this season, right now the Steelers position on the 2019 power rankings, courtesy of NFL, not the NFL, the ESPN website. Y'all know ESPN. But they have the power rankings out there, and right now, I can't complain necessarily where the Steelers are. Let me read to you guys the list. Let's take our bias off. So give me a second. Had to take my bias off real quick. And I'm going to look at this list objectively, okay? Number 1, New England Patriots. They're the reigning Super Bowl champs. Are they probably going to be the same team? I doubt it, but every time you say that about New England, they do something that you don't expect them to do. Good news is we did beat New England last year. Fair and square. Without the Jesse rule and the catch not being a catch, which was a catch. Should be 2 years in a row, but taking that away, we did beat them last year, okay? Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think we can argue with that. And I'm not talking about order. I'm just saying the teams who are ahead of the Steelers at the moment. Number 3, New Orleans Saints. Another team that we had a chance. The Rams at number 4. The Eagles at number 5. The Eagles are quietly looking really good. Quarterback play is going to be interesting with the Eagles, though. I like Carson Wentz. I'm just saying, behind that, Carson Wentz hasn't been healthy for 16 weeks. No more Nick Foles. Let's keep an eye on the Eagles. And, you know, secretly, and this is not a secret, but I don't root for the Eagles, but I give them a let's go Eagles whenever the Steelers are out of the way because it's a PA team. You know, I don't have no second team, but if we didn't make the playoffs, so I was like, all right, Philly, go ahead and do something and represent the state. So I keep my eye on Philly just to see what they're doing. But, of course, when they play us, I could care less what they're doing. Number 6, the Los Angeles Chargers. I don't think we can argue that. Number 7, Chicago Bears. I don't think we can argue that after the season they had. Number 8, this is an interesting one. Indianapolis Colts. Interesting. We'll see. But that's interesting. Number 9, the Dallas Cowboys. And, you know, let's be honest. Dallas Cowboys are just like the Steelers in terms of those are two teams that are always going to be in conversation, especially the Cowboys in the division that they're in. So whether you think they're this high or not, come on. You know the Cowboys are always going to be in the running. They did improve defensively. They got a strong running back. We'll see what Dak is going to do. But you can't deny that the Cowboys are probably going to be one of those teams that could probably win their division if they can get past the Eagles, or if not, number 2 in that division, or, you know, just in the rest of the NFC East or NFC period, the Cowboys could end up being one of the playoff teams. It just is what it is. Now, number 10. Y'all ready for this? Drum roll. Cleveland Browns. Hey. That's who's on the list. Listen, I know it's hard for us to accept as Steelers fans, and I don't think they deserve to be there just off of potential. But yeah, folks, you notice I haven't talked about our Steelers yet. So right below that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're at 11, which brings me to the point of the title. Are we flying under the radar this year? Have everybody counted the Steelers out because of no Antonio Brown and no Le'Veon Bell, which arguably so. You know, when you take talents like that off the field, of course you got to look at the team and raise your eyebrow and be like, And I'm going to give you 2 valid reasons why. Some will say that we didn't have Le'Veon Bell last year. We didn't. You're correct. But we had Antonio Brown. And Antonio Brown made a big difference on the football field, regardless of how we feel about him. After the fact, I will never deny what he did as a Pittsburgh Steeler and will always respect that. Same thing I said about James Harrison when he left and had some of his words that he said as he left. I can never take away the fact of who James Harrison was, what he did as a Steeler, what he did in that Super Bowl. I'm a Steelers fan. I will love guys for who they were when they were there. And when they move on, whether I still like them as a person or not, has nothing to do with how I felt about them as Steelers. So you can't deny that Antonio Brown's present on that field last year and the touchdowns that he added last year with Juju being there, with Juju having more yards. You can't deny that that's a chunk of the offense that's missing. Point blank, period. Here's the second valid reason. What has been our problem the last several years? Defense, right? For the majority of the time when the Killer Bees were intact, we never really too much worried about the offense. Some games we did, but we never too much worried about that. So when you lose certain components, there's no guarantee that the Steelers offense will be a top 5 offense once again. It's not a guarantee. Do I think we have the talent there? Sure. But there's no guarantee, ladies and gentlemen. There's no guarantee that we're going to be a top 5 offense. None at all. With a rebuilding defense, right? With 2 to 3, maybe even 4 key new pieces that's going to contribute this year. Obviously, Devin Bush. Cam Kelly seems like he's going to be a contributor. He seems like he's going to make this team. Steven Nelson. And then maybe another guy in there that we might say that's relatively new that could help out. An Ola when he's back healthy. You see what I'm saying? It's a potential 3 to 4 guys who are fairly new to the team and or just fairly new to the role that we got to depend on. We think they will be better, but we don't know. We don't. So I kind of feel like, again, I got my bias sitting over there, and I'm gonna put it back on a little later in the video. But I got my bias sitting over here on the floor. I don't know if I can argue it, man. Again, take your bias out of it. I don't know if I can argue this position. Does it suck to see us under the Browns? Yes, because again, you gotta go with what you know. I don't think you put the Steelers under the Browns just because of the potential of that team. How long has the Browns had potential? The Browns have had potential for several years with all of the draft picks and all that. So I don't think just because they got these things on the surface that you can immediately say they're going to be better than the Steelers. And that's, again, my bias is over here. It's on the floor. I'd show it to you if I would pan the camera down. My bias is over there. This is just a football person talking here. I don't think you can just say that on paper when the Browns have struggled to get 8 games that they can win in a given season. So, just my thoughts. Let me read to you guys what Jeremy Fowler said, and then I'll show you the quick little quip, quick little quip. See, I can't talk when I'm talking fast. The quick little clip from the video of a game that we played, against the Chiefs. I want to show you something from the article that I read today. But here's Jeremy Fowler. He says, Kevin Colbert is on the hot seat, not Mike Tomlin. Here's the reason why. He says Colbert basically placed himself on the hot seat when he opted to go year to year on his contract. Some of you guys probably don't know that, but Colbert has been doing that for a couple years now. He's 62 years old, and he needs to assess his future with his family. His deal expires in May. The fact that Mike Tomlin earned a 1-year extension last month, which will push Tomlin through the 2021 season, right? The fact that happened, and Colbert didn't raise any, he said the fact that Tomlin earned a 1-year extension last month while Colbert didn't raise questions because of the two usually signed in tandem, representing a lack of security for a key figure in the organization that thrives off of stability. Now, again, this is speculation, but he might be right about that. Normally, they do re-up together. This time, they didn't. And he said both parties have 1 year to see whether the roster Colbert built will return to the playoffs after falling short last season. Listen, I've been saying all along, it's not just the head coach, man. It's not just the head man. I've been saying that. So I'm not going to beat that dead horse. They all, we need to be looking at all of them, because as much as I do think Mike Tomlin is a great coach, I wouldn't mind if he continued to be the coach for several more years. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind if they did go a different way, because, listen, he's been there forever. And sometimes good things come to an end, or sometimes you just need a change of pace, so it wouldn't bother me. But I don't want to hear people saying get rid of him just because of this and just because of that. No, because you can't show me many other coaches that have done or are doing better than he's doing. That's all I'm saying. But again, Colbert is also a person you got to look at, man. It's not just Mike Tomlin. It's other members on that staff, and then definitely the general manager falls into that as well. And again, I've liked Kevin Colbert for his duration of his career. There's never going to be things that I'm going to agree with completely with any coach. I don't care who it is or any GM. We're not in that line of business, so it's impossible for us to fully agree or fully disagree with everything. We don't know the ins and outs. Excuse me, guys. I swear every time I do the show, it seems like the last 2 weeks I've had to cough. 1 second, man. But all right, man, let's get it. And it looks like somebody donated, man. I appreciate that. Was it Marcus Frazier? Let me give you a round of applause, buddy. Well, actually, my software is showing me wrong information. This was from 4 days ago, so I apologize, guys. It wasn't live in this one. But either way, we're going to give that man a round of applause anyway. So, all right, the next thing we're going to talk about, let's see. What else I want to get into? Let me show you guys the video clip. What I read in the article, man, it's on SteelersDepot.com. They're saying that Mike Hilton has basically said that we may see some 3 safety nickel alignments this coming season, right? So basically he said that we may see a nickel package that contains 3 safeties. Now, the funny thing is, man, I thought I saw that when I was watching the game, because I actually watched a piece of the game again today, and I wasn't 100% sure. And then as soon as I read the article, I said, exactly. I knew I saw that. And I saw it as early as the first defensive series. Let me show you. Now, let me pull it up here, guys. Give me a second. Now, of course, in preseason, we don't have all 22, so I'm just warning you guys. What you're about to see is a little janky. I had to record it off of my TV with my phone because, I got the game recorded and then made that into a video and then, put it in the software so you can see it. So I'm basically going to play it It's going to run in slow motion. You'll kind of see it, and then if I have to play it more than once, I will. But let me show you guys real quick. Let me make sure it comes up here. Give me a second. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, give me a second, guys. Live television, guys. This is what happens. Y'all don't mind, though. I know y'all don't. There we go. All right, so check it out. And you guys can't really see it. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger here. Hide my face. I can't really pause it because of the way I captured it, but I want you to pay attention to this. You can't see Cam Kelly's back there. All right? Edmonds is right there. You're going to see there's Artie Burns. You're going to see Mike Hilton right here. And who else is out there? It's Sean Davis. So I'm going to start it again so you guys can see it again. Try to make it a little wider so it'll cut me out a little bit, but y'all don't mind. Y'all want to see what's going on. Sean Davis is right here, okay? Terrell Edmonds, Cam Kelly, and he's going to go out of the screen here in a moment. You got Artie Burns, you got Steven Nelson, you got Mike Hilton. And who else is that out there? You got, I can't see who that other guy is right there. But you got Mark Barron, and again, we talked about this play. Let's play it one more time. I can't see who this other defender is over here. Who is that? That's Barron right there. Oops. Barron is here. Davis is creeping up on the line. Okay, that's Davis. So Davis is, everybody's playing man. Right? And you got the great coverage by Mark Barron right there. All right, so that's all I wanted to show you guys. Very interesting. Very interesting. The Steelers are going to flirt with some, nickel packages and maybe even a dollar package where they got 7 defensive backs on the field. But it's very interesting to see that 3 safety set because remember last year we talked about them doing that. Didn't see it that much, especially with Burnett being out. So, again, knowing that they're going to go that route, it bears the question, how many safeties are they going to keep? Will a guy like P.J. Locke, or I would assume P.J. Locke, because we haven't heard much from Askew Henry, maybe they make the practice squad. I don't think they have a path to the 53. It's just interesting, man. And again, the key thing that was interesting to me about that play is, again, that they're trying some different things, and then also it was 3rd and 4, and they went man up. Man up. They ain't really giving no cushion. And that's just, have we not been asking for this? You know what I'm saying? If you're going to beat me. Mano a mano. But don't just always sit back in the zone and just let them pick you apart. So I love that. You got pressure with the guys up front. You got time. You gave them a little time to get pressure because you're pressing people. You're in their face. So the coverage was pretty tight. And then you get Mark Barron reacting to the running back immediately out the backfield and in perfect position to cover the wheel route, which that'll probably be Devin Bush in most cases. Love that. This is what I'm saying. Whether we win or lose, let me just see that we're trying to put our best effort forward instead of sitting back in the zone all the time. And that's how we beat New England last year. A lot of people didn't realize this, but we did a lot of match coverage. We did a lot of match coverage in that game, which is the reason why Joe Hayden got that interception in the first place, because Tom Brady thought he was going to be in one place, but he ended up somewhere else because he was matching the route. So that's all, man. I'm off my soapbox there. But that's all I got right now, guys. I don't really have much more to go into, man. I'm already at 28 minutes, so that's me babbling. Let me see if we got any phone calls in the queue. Not a whole lot to talk about, man. I mean, we talked about the game. Well, I will say this before I grab the calls. There's only one call in queue, and I believe that's my brother-in-law, Jamar, there. Pretty much, man, again, the things I think we need to keep our eyes on is what's going to happen with guys like Deontay Spencer, Ryan Switzer, Johnny Holton, Sutton Smith, man. I keep saying it, especially with Ola being down. I know a lot of us are saying that the Steelers are probably not going to keep more than 9 linebackers. guys, they might be in a position where they have to. You know, if they feel like they can get a guy like Skipper on the practice squad, maybe they'll waive him. If he clears waivers, and I'm sure they'll get him back on the practice squad. But you have to think, Ola is not going to be available at week 1 more than likely. So you're going to have to keep at least one of these guys, you know, your Gilberts of the world, even though Gilbert is an inside backer. You're going to have to keep a guy like that on the squad, even just for practice, for special team situations. But I'm telling you, if this dude Sutton Smith doesn't show something, I would not be surprised. Again, you got to think about circumstance. We can't always rely on recent history, because the Steelers sometimes they have all of a sudden start changing their ways a little bit, where they do some things out the ordinary. So I'm not going to continue to just be stuck in recent history. They might have to keep 9 linebackers for the initial 53. They might have to, because we don't have guys. Just think about it again. Look at the lines. Even if we kept 10, look at the depth. Let's do 5 inside backers. Bush, Williams, Barron. After that, Dirty Red. Come on. Then after that is Gilbert. That's if we keep 5 of them. Imagine if we only keep 4. It's probably going to be Dirty Red. Because we know how the Steelers do with that type of thing, the seniority type of thing. So let's say they keep 5 inside, and they only going to keep 4 outside, because they normally only keep 9 per se. But Watt, Chicolo. Who's next? Ola, who's slightly injured, will be down a couple weeks. Who's after that? Right now, you got 3 inside linebackers. So you telling me that they got to keep Ola's spot, obviously. So that's your 4. So you only got 3? And Chicolo being your only rotational piece? No. I think it's very possible that a guy like Skipper could make the squad, but out of necessity. We'll see. I don't know. But other than that, man, and then let's keep an eye on Dobbs and Hodges. Keep an eye on those positions and see what's going to happen there. I think those are going to be the only surprises and, roster moves that we can expect to still watch. Everybody else, we probably already know how things are going to line up. So those positions that I named there are the key ones that I would have to look at again. Hilton, Switzer, Spencer, how's that going to pan out? And then the linebacker situation, Tuzar Skipper, Sutton Smith, how's that going to pan out? Will Gilbert make the 53? I think he should. And then Dobbs versus Hodges. So that's it. That's all I got currently at the moment. So let's grab, good gracious. Got phone calls in here, man. Got 4 of them. So y'all know the routine. We're going to hit this really quick. Can't be here all night. Everybody gets 2 minutes or less. And if you go over, I got to put you on mute. But all right, man. First and foremost, area code 757. Live on the Terrible Towel Tuesday. What's going on?
Hey, Sam, what's going on? It's Brandon again. It's the second time calling, man.
Oh, okay.
Just wanted to get on and just let Steeler Nation know that we should be excited. From what I'm seeing with these first 2 preseason games is they've fixed the issue on defense. I want to focus on the defense side of the ball first, but on defense, from what I'm seeing, is basically that whole issue that we had for the past, what has it been, 4 seasons, is matchups. Matchups have killed us in games. Our defense, the whole issue was communication and matchups. The communication got fixed simply because we got somebody that seems like they know what they're doing at linebacker again. You know what I'm saying? Because Shazier, he was the leader. He was the only reason I won't say the only reason, I'm over-exaggerating, but he was the main reason our defense looked good. Because we always had matchup issues. We never had the right type of corners to match up with the wide receivers that we were put up against. We never had the right type of linebacker per se, other than Shazier, to help out, in the passing game. But we've fixed that. We've got decent talent, as far as, we don't know yet. It's still got to come out. But basically, we've got the talent to match up correctly in the pass game. And now, to me, this is where, okay, those Mike Tomlin haters, or the people who hate on Mike Tomlin, this is the year that
2-minute warning
back, because now you can't say anything about the players anymore to me. I mean, and I'll know more for sure once we get past this fourth game. You can't really say anything about it. You can't say anything about the players anymore. You drafted, you built the team up now. So now it's going to come down to, okay, your coordinators, what are they going to put out on the field, and the coaches, how is he going to manage the game? And then real quick, I know my
Hey, brother, how you doing tonight? Pretty good. My questions were, has Dobbs separated himself, he and Rudolph, from Hodges? Because I'm kind of impressed with Hodges. Although Hodges is playing against, coming on later during the quarters, I am very impressed with Mason Rudolph. Is there something that Dobbs in danger of possibly being a third, or maybe Hodges might slip in and upseat him? And another question of concern is Xavier Grindle at the second string tight end. With his performance, we might possibly go out looking for a second tight end, a legitimate second tight end for the offense. And last question, and I know this is a tough one, with passing of Darryl Drake. I'm not sure, who are the possible replacements? I read something to Ray Sherman. I'm not very impressed with him, especially during the Cordell Stewart years. And that's my question.
All right, man. I appreciate the call. And guys, y'all know whenever y'all don't hear any sound, y'all already know what I did, right? I be trying to mute so y'all don't hear the clickety-clack, and then I forget that I'm on mute. So that whole thing I was saying beforehand, it was probably a pause for about 30 seconds. So let me try to recap it really quick. I was basically saying, sorry to Brandon. If Brandon's listening, my apologies, man, but I have to cut right at the 2 minutes so we can keep it moving. Apologies. And I also said, what else was I saying in there? I said, let me get to the rest of the calls, guys. 2 minutes or less. 803 did a great job. And I'm trying to remember all of his questions. I know he said about Dobbs and Hodges. Yeah, man, it's interesting. The Steelers, I never know what they're going to do. Last year, I thought they would go with conventional wisdom and they would keep Landry Jones. They didn't. They chose Dobbs over him. So I wouldn't be shocking at all to me if they keep Hodges over Dobbs this time. The only thing that would tick me off about that is, man, George Kittle was sitting out there, man, when Dobbs, oh, Lord have mercy, when Dobbs was picked. And look where we are now at the tight end position. That hurts me, man. I hate when picks just don't pan out and there was other guys there. But listen, nobody has a crystal ball. As far as the receiver coach, I have no clue. I really don't, man. I'm not even going to pretend to say that I've analyzed coaches in that regard. Maybe our resident scout, Kenyon, might be able to chime in on that. But I have no clue who would be possibly the replacement for Darryl Drake. And I know I've seen people say Hines Ward. And come on, guys. Sometimes guys are better players than they are coaches. So, but let me stop rambling, man. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more calls, guys. Please, 2 minutes or less. I don't want to have to mute you. And even let me mute myself because sometimes I talk too much. Area code 412. You are live. What you got for us? What's up, man?
Hey, Sim. Smitty from Pittsburgh. Real quick, with the Dobbs and the Hobbs situation, I think Dobbs, honestly, is a better quarterback. His arm is way too inconsistent for me. Yeah. And that's honestly the big issue because he reads defenses better than, I think, Rudolph. Rudolph, you can tell his progression in reading defense is slow, but he just has more accurate arm, but not as strong. So I think he's better than the Hobbs. And also, I want to get down to Coach Tomlin and the philosophy of the Steelers and Tomlin. Tomlin, remember, came from a Tampa 2 defense, which was actually kind of inspired by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s from Tony Dungy. He had more value on corners, where the Steelers had more values on safety and on front end players. So I think it took a while for him to get the kind of defense that he wanted to and get these long corners, because the Steelers didn't have value in man corners because they believe you have a good pass rush that will stop everything. And that philosophy kind of isn't holding up as we're in the more passing passing league with, like, in fantasy, like a catch is worth twice as a run for a running back. So that just shows what we want to do. And also, this is my last little statement. I'm curious why
2-minute warning.
Buying 5% of the Pittsburgh Steelers because I just think that's really interesting. It's on media takeout, but there've been some local and some serious publications talking about it. So I think it's going to be like the situation with the Panthers and the Browns, last two owners.
Time's up.
Had stakes in the Steelers where they
Time's up.
learned from a good organization how to run a sports team and basically left the organization with that knowledge to run their own with the Browns and the Panthers. But I'll hang up. I appreciate.
Yeah, man. Let me jump in right there, man. Appreciate the call. I know a lot of people are asking me about the Jay-Z rumors. I might do a separate video for that, how I feel in general about the whole situation. I don't know. I'm not gonna dive into that because I look at it. Let me just say this: I look at it totally different from how the mass media of people are receiving it. People jump to haste decisions way too quick, and they don't dissect. Number one, what's happening. Number two, they don't take anything into consideration. Number three, they don't even allow whatever's happening to happen. They just quick to judge. And I'm like, let me save it. I will talk about that in a separate video. But yeah, I will talk about that and the rumor about it being with the Steelers. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Area code 81. Oh, wait. You said I agree about Dobbs. I do think Dobbs might be a better potential quarterback. That arm just is too inconsistent. And unfortunately, when you're inconsistent and it keeps showing up, you got to go. And you could lose your job. So there it is. Area code 810, live on air. What you got for us?
What's going on, Sim? It's Black Hawk, man.
What's up, Hawk?
What's up, man? Hey, once again, I appreciate the show, man. You do a great job, man. Keep me informed. And it was just one thing I wanted to say about what we were talking about earlier when you was talking about that Tomlin is not going to be the one that's on the hot seat. It's the general manager. My question is, you think that they may be setting it up for Tomlin to take over as the general manager and bring in a different coach?
Mm.
And another thing too, I think the Hodge guy, I think he's a good quarterback, man. I think they're going to keep him. I believe they're going to keep him, and maybe they're going to trade Dobbs. And that's pretty much all I want to say, man, and just let you know I appreciate your show, man, and keep up the good work. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Black Hawk. See, look at that. Black Hawk know how to do it in and out and got 2 good points in. So, yeah, it gives me time to respond. Hey, man, Tomlin as the GM, that would be interesting. I mean, I hadn't thought about that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even, you know, sometimes people will lie to you and they'll say, yeah, I thought about that. Yeah. Nah. Bruh, I had not even thought about that one. So you just dropped something on us. I don't know if I would have an issue with it if that really was the case. I don't think I would. I mean, one thing we do know is he loves that whole process. Now, here's the argument. Some people will say, well, he can't develop talent and he can't pick talent. I mean, they all have had hits and misses. And the hits that he has selected have been hits. The busts that he selected have been busts. But again, we don't know how much influence is head coach versus GM and vice versa. For the bottom line, I would feel like I don't think I would have a problem with it because he understands the culture. And if there's another head man running the show, cool. So I definitely hadn't thought about that one though. So that if that turns out to be something, remember where you heard it first, man. Black Hawk put us on that game. Area code 240. What you got for us?
Hey, you know who this is, brother.
I already know. What up,
man,
Tony?
Do it real quick, hey man, I'm all right, man. You know, I was looking at Kevin Colbert's track record. I know that it's the team and he's doing it and everything, but I think we should slow down a little bit when we talk about him. You know, I know he's going year to year. Let's slow down if we're looking for another general manager. He has a lot of success with our team. Over the last 19 years, he's been to the playoffs. He went to the playoffs 12 times out of the 19 years. And just look at all the players that we had over the years. I mean, he had some busts, but he had some good players too. I mean, you know, and this is the second thing that I wanted to bring out also. Looking at the backups now, I feel a little confident now this year just looking at the backups that we had.
Mm-hmm.
You remember back in early times of Bill Calvin, and you heard me say this plenty of times, how we had those backups. Like you had, you know, behind Chemo was the Beard. You know,
yes,
behind
sir.
Joey Porter was James Harrison. So we always had good backups behind our players all the time, and I'm feeling that somehow or another some things are starting to happen now, you know. But Tomlin being the GM, no, man. I mean, you know, that's something to look at and everything. But and this is another thing. I hope a lot of Steelers fans know this. I don't know if they know this. Do they? You know that the Rooneys was always the general manager. Kevin Colbert is the first GM of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that. He is the first one. So I'm just saying, you know, I mean, I guess in my heart, Kevin Colbert, man, I trust in him. You know, even though he had some tough times, but, you know, hey, man, that's all I got right there. I'll talk to you later, brother.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate my brother Tony calling. For you guys that don't know, we don't just say that. Like that, he's actually my brother-in-law, you know, through our father-in-law, Leonard. So that's my guy right there. Hey, man, you know, he makes great points there. You know, it's easy to throw people in the trash when they down, man. It's so easy to do that. You cannot forget what Kevin Colbert has done for the Steelers, what he's meant for the organization. So I don't try to kick these guys when they're down. That's just me, you know. I'm not ready to kick him out of the door. But, you know, again, he could be on the hot seat, you know, according to how things are looking. He could be, but all of them probably are. So there you have it. Area code 609. You are live. What you got for us?
What's going on? What's going on, SimFBallCritic?
What's good, man?
Hey, man, I got 3 questions for you on VL. My first question is, who is your, sleeper player that's in training camp, and who you think is going to, ball out, rest of preseason and probably have a shot in the 53-man roster? My second question is, since you said that Kevin Colbert is in a hot seat as GM, who do you think out there in the NFL, in the market, for GMs, like that you think Steelers got their eye on or might, get a chance with? And my third and final question is, do you think that Colbert's going to be fired after this season and stuff? And thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I answer the last two questions first. I'm gonna have to throw it to my brother Kenyon, man, because I don't know. I really don't. Like I have no idea when it comes to things like GMs and coaches. I'm gonna be honest with you. I pay too much attention to. I'm more like the head coach, right? I'm more like the head coach that watches all the players. Me and Tony are kind of like in that mode. We watch the players, evaluate what's going on. I might be a little bit like something like a scout too, because I break down plays and things like that. But in terms of the whole body, player personnel, staff, I got to throw it to Kenyon. And, and Kenyon can say in the chat whether he knows that. But I really don't know, man. I don't know GMs enough. Head coaches and stuff, you can kind of see how guys are performing and say, wow, I would love that guy to be on my team. And to be honest with you, man, I know some of y'all might hate this. Whatever Bill Belichick, whatever formula they got, I would love that type of formula at Pittsburgh in terms of GMing and getting the best out of the player. But other than that, I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you there. The first question, I hate to go with a pick that most people would say, oh, well, of course, but it's got to be Gilbert for me. Ulysses Gilbert, I think, is the sleeper guy. Has a chance to make the squad. I hope he makes the squad. I think he's going to continue to play well. I would love to see him play a little more in this third game where, you would expect Tennessee will have more of their starters out there a little longer. So I would like to see him in some of that rotation. Another guy I would say maybe is a Deontay Spencer. I think Deontay Spencer, man, that speed and just his return ability has me excited. I would love a guy like that if he continues to play well. If we keep seeing the performance that he showed us the other night, and it wasn't perfect, but if he keeps showing us that twitchiness and all that kind of stuff with the return game and on the end around, that's a dude I think is a sleeper to get somebody up off that roster. We ain't had that in a while. And we've been trying to get that with your Dree Archers and your Chris Rainey's and, who else did we pick like that? Trying to get that lightning in the bottle, and we haven't gotten it. So those will be my two players. Two more calls, it looks like, man. Area code 719. You are live. What you got for us?
What's up, big dog? It's Tristan Cooper, man. This is my first time in the show or whatever, bro, and I appreciate what you're doing. But my quick question is, man, do you think he's going to do more of man this year? Thinking about all the speed that we have.
More of what? What was the last thing you said?
Do you think we're going to do more of man coverage?
Oh, more man. Okay.
Got all the speed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, man. I believe we'll do man. And I apologize. I had to mute you there, man. I heard some double audio in the background. So make sure when you call in, if you're listening to me on the computer or a device, just mute that for a moment and just listen through the phone. So that way we don't get that, double audio. But I believe so. And I think the evidence of that is right here, man. If you're still watching, let me just throw that play up again one time. The evidence of that is right there. And I know y'all can't see me at the moment, but let me move it a little bit. There we go. This is 3rd and 4. First defensive possession. And we locking up man. We don't do that. We did play, a lot of man last year. Yes, we did. But we all saw what happened in times where we wished we would have played man and we didn't. It was times that we still sat back in zone. But I think because of plays just like that, seeing it against a Patrick Mahomes and that type of offense and running man, I think we're going to see it definitely with a Devin Bush. Even with a guy like Mark Barron, I've been there and done that type of guy. He's not extremely fast at this stage of his career, but he's capable. So I definitely think we're going to do a lot more man coverage. I'm in favor of it, but you got to mix in some other things too. You can't just sit in man because, just like how you can get torched sitting in zone, you can't just sit in man all night because then, a good quarterback might pick that advantage apart. So we'll see. But I definitely hope we continue that trend of doing more man coverage. But thanks for the call, Tristan, man. The first time, I appreciate that. Don't be a stranger. All right, man. Last call for the night. Area code 601. What you got for us tonight?
All right, bro. I got a couple of points I want to make, bro. Well, first I want to say I agree with what Tony was saying earlier about us having a good backups on this team. It's been the first year that we could actually say that we had. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're quality, but they're actually sure that they could have some type of upside. But the other part is, I kind of think. I mean, I might be wrong, but I believe Jaylen Samuels is going to be a key for our offense this year because when he comes in the game, man, he gives us another spark on that offense. I mean, James Conner is good, but I just don't. He don't have that shiftedness like Jaylen Samuels do when he comes in the game. He just gives something different, and I just wanted your output on that. And that's pretty much all I got, man.
Oh man, I appreciate the call, brother. I would definitely answer both of those questions. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. Let's start with Jaylen Samuels first. Jaylen Samuels is somewhat of the forgotten man in a way. And the reason why I say that, and I don't really mean that, but I'm talking about just in terms of us watching training camp and watching preseason so far. Most of us are kind of watching to see what Benny Snell's going to do, right? Even during training camp, you've heard a lot of people saying, even me, I was guilty of it early. I said, yo, you never know. You know, Benny Snell might take Jaylen Samuels' spot. Jaylen Samuels ain't really the traditional running back and all of that. I was saying that. But if you look at him quietly, they say he lost some weight. You know, he came in, he wanted to get faster and shiftier. He looks a lot better on the field. He looks like he's moving a lot faster. He is a receiving back. Yeah, I could clearly see Jaylen Samuels being a big component of our offense this year because, again, with the whole AB thing, you're going to have to find more ways to get more people the ball and create more, you know, packages or, you know, mismatch situations that we're going to have to try to get to help Juju because clearly Juju is going to be the guy, whether people believe that or not. He's a guy who has led us in receptions and, you know, he has blown up these last 2 years. So obviously the defensive coordinators are going to say, all right, let's figure out what we're going to do with Juju. And then we'll deal with everybody else. So outside of just James Washington, who looks like he's peaking, we're going to have to find everybody, other people, other matchups that we're going to have to favor to help alleviate, you know, the doubles that Juju might draw. And Jaylen Samuels could be one of those guys. He got off against New England last year. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be running some 5 wide and things like that, and Jaylen Samuels will probably be in the game during that time if we're not gonna do 4 receivers and 4 receivers and a tight end. So I agree with you, man. I think Jaylen Samuels has a lot more to offer. His feet are wet now, so we'll see. And then what Tony said, man, and I meant to comment on this as well. My bad, Tony, but you guys have no idea how long Tony has been saying this. I mean, on our talks, the day that I commute in, I only work in the office 1 day a week. Fortunate enough to be able to work from home 4 days a week. But when I do actually commute, I go all the way down to D.C. for that 1 day. And when I'm on my lunch, I call Tony, and we always talk about Steelers, and sometimes we talk about, the Lord or anything. We might be talking about anything that, that we feel that's important at the moment. And Tony has said numerous times, man, you know what I just don't like, man? I don't like that, it just seems like when Cowboy was there, we had backups. I mean, Tony has been beating that point home. And this year, it just looks like all of a sudden, it looks like we got some depth in certain areas. We're weak in certain areas, but we got depth in other areas. And that's something that I haven't been confident about in quite a long time. So it's good to see these guys. And again, I'm not saying that these dudes are world beaters, but it's good to see guys like Gilbert and, these type of guys like Ola. Hopefully we get Ola back soon. And even Cam Kelly. Look at this. A guy like Cam Kelly is probably going to get some real playing time. And he's looking decent so far. We'll see what happens in real competition. Sunday's going to tell us a lot. Because I think we're going to see, our starters for a good, decent amount of time. And we'll really be able to gauge from that game tape how guys are looking so far. But Yeah, I'll end it with that, man. I like where we are on the surface. We'll see who actually makes the team. And there you have it. And we have done almost an hour, guys. We had 54 minutes, had a bunch of calls. So my homework will be getting this back, reeling it back into where it's bop, 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 phone calls, and then we back at it because we got to condense the time of the show. So I got to work on that as well as you guys. So just remember, going forward, try to keep the calls as short as possible. You guys did a great job with that tonight. Help me out. Keep me from rambling. If you notice, all right, Sam, all right, let's move on. Put it in the chat. My feelings don't get hurt easy. I have super tough skin. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can say, all right, man, reel it back in. You're going off the rail a little bit because this is a family effort, you know? So let's see what you guys got in the chat really quick, man. I'll stay here for about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Somebody said PJ Locke. I don't know, man. I'm scared for PJ Locke because he's just not getting a bulk of the playing time. I don't know where he fits. I think Locke probably lands on the practice squad. Let's see. Smitty says, what does anybody remember with Samuel in his rookie season? I think Snell was more impressive with special teams and pass blocking. Yeah, Snell is definitely making an impact on special teams and pass pro, and you are correct. He looks better in that area more so than Jaylen Samuels did in his rookie season. I fully agree with that. Tony says, slow your roll, Christian, with that stud. Dupree, he is still done. Yeah, man. Stud Dupree just watched. All right, Christian. Listen, we're going to hold you accountable then. Ali says, this show should be as long as the gaming ones. I'm just saying. Listen. All right. Let me tell you something, Ali. Let me call my wife down here. And you say that to her. No, it ain't really that either. I be playing, man. Like, my wife is cool. I could do this for that long. But, again, to be open and fair and honest with you guys, man, listen. Y'all know I keep it all the way 100 with y'all. All right? And I've always considered myself and called myself probably the realest YouTuber you ever gonna find. Because I tell the straight truth, and I have no shame in it. The reality is, man, it's great for a live show, the longer the show. But I have to treat YouTube and what I do on YouTube, and I have been doing this anyway, in case you guys don't know. You got to treat it like a business. So I have to think about people who watch it that are not watching live. You got to think about things like retention and watch time. Those are the things that actually matter on YouTube. And at the moment, as a YouTuber, I have to think about those things because all of those things affect my bottom line. That's number one. Number two, if I grow this show and I grow this Steelers thing and it becomes its own entity, and maybe we're doing something independent from that, maybe one day I'm actually in an actual studio doing this, I could care less how long the shows are because then it's a totally different story. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to think about platform and you have to think about rewatch value and things like that. It's great for you guys watching now because one thing about streams, I'm getting 58 minutes of watch time right now with you guys who've been here. But I have to think about those folks that are not going to see it live. You know, it's just an extremely long amount of time. You know, diehard Steelers fans will listen to it, but, you know, it's just some of those things you have to think about, man, when you are trying to do things for more than just the surface level. You understand what I'm saying? I'm really trying to excel with this being like a side thing outside of my actual career at the moment, but that's getting a little too deep. Yeah, see that? Only 25 likes. So y'all don't even like the video. Y'all want me to stay on here all night? No, I refuse. All right, one last comment, man. Big Marv says, Sim, Tony is right. I was around when Bill Cowher was the coach. Asked Tony, said, what did they call him? The chin. Will you see that chin? Oh, we see that chin out of Bill. Will we see that? What are you saying? You see that chin? See, this is the thing with typing. I know some of that is autocorrect, so I don't want to read it the way it's typed. I think you're saying when you see, there you go. I think you're trying to say when you see that chin come out, Bill was not playing. We had backups. Yeah, man. Yeah. Bill Cowher. That look with that chin coming around the corner. Absolutely. But all right, there it is, man. I've told you guys why I don't want to keep the show so long. I poured it all out to y'all. I keep it real with y'all like I always do. But I appreciate you guys coming through like always. So don't forget, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe if you like what you saw. If you're not a subscriber, if you are a subscriber or a new subscriber, cut on your notifications. Click on that little bell so that way you get a notification when the show is live or whenever I upload any type of content. And also, hit the like button. If you like what you see, hit the like button. If you dislike what you see, hit the dislike button. I like real feelings. All right? And last but not least, if you feel the need to donate to If you feel the need to donate to the cause, you can do so right here on YouTube. Click the $ down in the bottom left corner of the chat. Or if you prefer PayPal, PayPal information is right at the top of the description. Have at it. You're never required, but it's always appreciated. All right, so that's going to do it for tonight's show. I'll be back to you guys after Sunday night's game for the Terrible Towel post game. And hopefully we're talking about how good some of these guys look. Let's keep an eye on who starts after Ben. Probably Rudolph. And then who after that? Will it be Dobbs? Will it be Hodges? We shall see. All right, man. Y'all be good. Be safe. Be blessed. And good night. And thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.